Welcome to Tai Chi for Flexibility. My name's Adam. I'm a physical therapist and Tai Chi instructor, and today we're going to do a Tai Chi and Yoga flow, where we blend the graceful and flowing movements of Tai Chi and Qigong with the flexibility and mindfulness aspect of yoga. So make sure you watch the video all the way to the end, because I'm going to explain the difference in the similarities between Tai Chi and yoga and how we can blend them into one seamless flow. All right, so with this class, you don't have to get it perfect. You don't have to get anything memorized or get it right. Just follow along and just do what you see. I'll be your mirror image, but if you go one way and I go the other, I promise I won't get mad. And then I also cue the breathing, but if the breathing part stresses you out, you can just breathe normal. You can do this whole routine sitting in a chair, standing, or you can alternate sitting and standing as needed. We'll do the whole sequence standing. We'll add in some gentle standing yoga postures to further increase flexibility of body and mind. So without further ado, find a place where you can do some mindful movement. All right, so if you're standing, we'll begin with the feet together or as close as you can. The hands can come to the lower abdomen. You can close your eyes or just keep a soft gaze. As you breathe in, the belly expands. And as you breathe out, the belly returns towards the spine, abdominal breathing. Breathing in, coming into the present moment. Breathing out, just letting go. Breathing in, arriving in the body. And breathing out. One more time. This time you can hold the breath at the top of the inhale, just for a moment. And then let it out with a big sigh. Just letting out tension and stress. The hands can float down by the sides. As you breathe in, the arms float up. They circle in front as if you're gathering an energy. Bring it into the heart, send it down through the body and into the earth, sinking the chi, the life force energy. In yoga, we call it the prana, the source of our power and vitality. This time the arms come all the way up and over, just as much as you can. Then the hands come together, prayer position, down to the heart. And the hands float back up. They drift out and down, nice and easy, nice and slow. Call this one Anjali Mudra, or prayer position. Hands come together, heart center. Hands come up. They float all the way out and down, feeling all the sensations on the way down. And then from here, step one foot out to the side, either foot. Then the arms float up in front, to about shoulder height. The arms get heavy, floating down. You can even soften the hips and knees if you want. We call this opening the door, start of the journey. Breathing in like mist rising from the lake. Breathing out, floating down like a soft rain. One more time, opening the door. This time the arms circle around in front, making two loose fists. The forearms come towards each other as you round the back. Then breathe in as you open. The arms go out to the sides, opening the shoulders and chest. Breathe out as you round the back. Forearms come towards each other. Breathe in and open. We call this one spinal cord breathing. Stimulating the energy along the spine, loosening up the joints as well, opening up the shoulder and chest. All right, let's do one more. This time the arms drift out to the sides. They float down, the palms face up. They rise up the midline. Then when you get to the heart, one hand pushes up, the other pushes down, connecting above and below. Then the hands spiral back to the heart, switching sides, pushing high and pushing low. Now you can keep your spine neutral, or if you want, you can do a little side bend. Opening up the side body. One more time. Other side. This time the bottom hand comes up and we'll push right off into the corner. The other hand pushes in the opposite direction. Breathing in, coming back to center. We'll go to the other corner. The dragon spreads its wings. If you want, you can even turn a little more, but just staying in your comfort zone. Never forcing it, always easing in. One more time. The dragon spreads its wings. And then hug the tree, bring it right out in front, rounding out the arms. The arms open up wide. The fingertips drift towards each other, the hands float down, they press behind. And then the hands come out in front as you sit down into your chair. Coming back up, the hands float down, pressing behind. I'll do that again. I like to ease in and out a few times for this one. The Utkatasana, the chair pose. One more time. This time, let's hold for a breath or two if you want. You can always keep your hands at prayer position for any of these movements as well. Just feeling, just noticing how it feels. Then the hands can float down as you rise up. The arms circle in front as you hug the big tree. Once again, the arms open up wide. Then this hand scoops under, step in as you catch the moon. Then the top hand goes behind the back, will step out to the side. As you step out, the bottom hand tosses the moon. Circle it back around, toss away. As if you could toss the moon. Then the other hand comes back on top, catch the moon. The bottom hand tosses away, the other hand just pushes down. Parting the wild horse's mane. Let's do that one again. Breathing, feeling, and as always, don't worry about getting it perfect. As long as you're moving, I'm happy. All right, this time stay with me here. The back foot here is gonna step back. We'll catch the moon again, but this time as we toss away, the palms rotate to face down. One arm reaches forward, the other behind, coming into warrior two. Our Virabhadrasana, softening the shoulders, letting go of any tension you don't need. You can always soften the arms as needed too. I won't get mad. One more breath, proud warrior. And then step the back foot up. This hand drags across the horizon. Step in. The other hand scoops under as you catch the moon. The top hand goes behind the back. We'll step out to the other side. And as you step out, toss the moon. Circle it back around. Let's do that one again. This time the other hand comes back on top. Catch the moon and toss it away. The other hand stays behind, parting the wild horse's mane, creating tranquility out of chaos. Let's do one more. And then this time, stay with me here. The back foot steps back just a little bit to give you a little more stability. Then as you toss away, the palms rotate to face down. One arm reaches forward, one behind, rooting down through the feet into the earth, tall through the spine, shoulders soft, fingertips reaching out. Warrior two. And then from here, step the back foot in. Then we'll hug the tree, bring it right back into the center. The arms open up wide. Then this hand here drops down and let it drift over to the other side. The hands switch positions. The hands float across like clouds in the sky. The hands switch again. Cloudy hands. You can breathe in as they switch, breathe out as they drift, or take as many breaths as you need, as long as you're breathing. It's my only rule. Like a moving meditation. All right, let's do one more. This time the top hand makes a hook. The bottom hand comes up. Then the bottom hand floats across the horizon. The palm turns out. Shoulders sink. Circle it around one more time. Do just the arms at first. Now this time, you can step the foot in as well. And then step out to the side. The hand drifts across, palm turns out. Single whip. Let's do that one again. Breathing in, breathing out. Once again, you can always soften the hook arm. We'll do one more time, single whip. This time, stay with me here. The back foot steps back, the palms face up, the front leg can straighten, and then reaching across, easing into the hip, coming up. I like to go in and out of this one a few times as well, kind of testing out the water, finding your edge where any more is too much, but any less is not quite there. And then you can rotate one hand down, the other hand can reach up, or you can always stay in half prayer position in your triangle pose, or anywhere in between, whatever feels good for you. Sometimes I just let my arm dangle behind, just experimenting and then rotating back up. And it doesn't matter how low you go, by the way. The front leg bends, the back foot steps up, then this hand floats down as the hands become clouds once again, drifting across. I'll do a few more, letting go of any tension you don't need, softening. How much can you let go? One more time. This time, the top hand makes a hook, the bottom hand comes up, the bottom hand floats across, palm turns out. One more time with just the arms. This time you can step in as the hand comes up, and then step out to the side, single whip. The hand floats across, palm turns out, circle it back around. Feeling into the body, feeling all the sensations that you can. Don't want to miss a thing. All right, let's do one more. Single whip. And then from here, the back foot steps back, the palms face up, the front leg can straighten, or you can keep a slight bend, reaching across, keeping the spine nice and long. Breathing. Then this time, if you want, you can rotate one hand down, the other hand can rotate up, coming into triangle pose, opening up the side body. And you can always come up high too. It's definitely not a contest at all. Just feeling your edge. So right about there. Once again, you can always stay in half prayer position. Just being kind to yourself, please. And then rotating back up. Arms reach out, the front leg bends, the back foot steps in, then the back hand drops down as the hands become clouds. And with each passing of the clouds, the feet can get a little closer, just till you get to a comfortable position. Wave hands like clouds. Like white fluffy clouds drifting across the bright blue sky. Let's do one more. This time the bottom hand comes up into a hook. The other hand scoops under as we carry the firefly in the lantern. Then the hands switch again. The other hand makes a hook, scooping under, drifting side to side, breathing, feeling into the body, letting go of striving, judgment. Can you be here now? One more time. The firefly and the lantern. And then hug the tree, bring it back to center. The arms open up wide, and the hands begin to float down, palms face up, one hand right on top of the other. Then this hand here floats up, comes right on over down the midline of the body. Then the other side, breathing in, breathing out. We call this one centering. Creating mental focus and clarity. Breathing in, breathing out. One more time. Good one to do on a stressful day. And then both hands together float out to the sides. They drift all the way up and over. And the palms float down to the waist as you soften the hips and knees. Then circle the hands in front as if you had a big ball right in front of the body, scooping under. Back up to the heart, down, all the way up and over, down to the waist. This time we'll make a diamond shape with the hands right in front of the heart, and then press out. It's called opening the heart. The hands float down. Let's do that again. Breathing in as you rise up, breathing out as you melt down. Circling the ball, gathering in the energy to turn into loving kindness and self-compassion. Floating down. Last one, all the way up and over. Down to the waist. This time we'll make the diamond shape again, right in front of the heart, and then press out, reaching, connecting, sending out all your loving kindness out to the world. May all beings be free from suffering. May they be happy, may they be healthy, May they live with ease. Then turning your palms to face yourself, the hands come to the heart. May I be kind to myself. May I feel connected with all beings. May I love myself just as I am. Then the hands can float down to the lower abdomen. You can step your feet together or as close as you can. And then you can close your eyes or just keep a soft gaze and let your body rock and sway ever so slightly, bamboo in the wind. Feeling into the body, all the sensations. And noticing your breath. Noticing the inflow and the outflow without trying to control it in any way. And then you can bring your attention into your heart, expressing gratitude to yourself for being here today, to cultivate a flexible body, a balanced mind, and a compassionate heart. And then if your eyes were closed, you can slowly open them, letting in the light. The hands can come together in front of the heart, and we can finish with a bow. Thank you all so much for joining me for this Tai Chi and Yoga Flow. All right, what I'd love for you to do is type in the comments how you're feeling right now. I'd love to hear about your experience. All right, so what is the difference between Tai Chi and yoga, and how do we make them work together? And so Tai Chi, we blend these graceful flowing movements with the strength, the flexibility, and mindfulness of yoga. All right, so in yoga, one of the main differences is that we tend to hold the position for a little bit longer. All right, we really sink in and come into our seat or our asana. All right, and then in Tai Chi, it's continuous movement without interruption. Now, the idea is that we want the energy to flow uninterrupted, and so that's why Tai Chi works with yoga, because even though we're standing in one position and we may not be physically moving, the energy is still flowing. So there's still that continuous flow, which is pretty much the hallmark of Tai Chi, is making sure everything is still flowing nice and smooth like the rivers and the ocean. All right, so from a mechanical perspective, there's some tips that are really helpful for beginners when we're doing Tai Chi and Yoga Flow. All right, so one thing is the foot position. All right, so actually, let's back it up. Let's do the posture in general, and then we'll do the foot position. So the posture in Tai Chi, we have what's called the 5 bows. All right, so the first, like a bow and arrow. So there's like that rounded bow. And so the legs, we have bow 1 and bow 2. All right, and so the knees are slightly bent so that there's a bow. It's not real rigid and straight. Okay, so the legs are the first 2 bows. Then the arms are the second 2 bows. So even when we really toss away, we're never really straight. There's always at least a slight bend, like when we did parting the horse's mane. All right, so there's always a slight bend in the elbows. There's a softness. All right, so those are the 4 bows. Then the 5th bow is the back. So going from shoulder blade to shoulder blade, the back is slightly rounded, or sometimes it's taught as hollowing the chest, but you don't want it to be you don't want to be hunched. You just want to be softened. So that's why I like to hug the tree. It puts you in that position. So if you slightly bend the knees with your feet shoulder width apart, so slightly bend the knees, round out the arms, it pretty much puts you into the 5 bows. So hug the tree, and that's how you get there. And so that's kind of like the hallmark of the Tai Chi posture, is it's soft. And then in yoga, sometimes we do a little bit more engaged. So instead of having a round back or a slightly rounded, then in yoga we sometimes we extend and draw the shoulder blades back a little bit here and engage. All right, and so when we go into Warrior 2, the arms are engaged and reaching straight. But in parting the horse's mane, there's that softness. All right, and so we can transition and go in and out. It's like the yin and the yang. So it's very much in line with Tai Chi philosophy too. All right, so how do we transition now? All right, now we go into way more depth. We go slower too in the studio, but I just wanted to give you an overview today. All right, so let's go over one of the combinations we did today, parting the wild horse's mane into warrior two. All right, so we start off with the foot position is the bow step. All right, so this is the bow and arrow step. So you're basically in a Tai Chi lunge. All right, there's a channel between. All right, now the yoga lunge with warrior two, we're in a narrow lunge. All right, so that's one of the big differences. Now there are yoga lunges that are also wide, but for the warrior two, it's usually a narrow. Now in this class, you can keep it wide. So if that's too narrow for you, you can stay wide. Like I always say, I won't get mad. You just have to meet yourself where you're at. All right, so, but traditionally, warrior two is oftentimes taught with the heel in line with the instep of the back foot. So you can do that if you want. But with Tai Chi, the bow step is always in this channel. So we always have this nice stable stance. All right, and so we step into the bow step with parting the horse's mane. So we step in, and I say step out to the side. So we step out and back a little bit so that we can turn and be in that bow step. All right, and let me show you from the side too. So when I say step in, I'll say step out to the side, kind of step diagonal a little bit, so that way when you turn, you have the channel, because if not, you'll step right into like you're on the tightrope. But you can always adjust if you find that you're too narrow. However, then when we go into warrior two, so we're tossing the moon, right? Parting the horse's mane. Then usually the third or the fourth one, I like to keep on shifting the weight forward so you can lift the back foot, step back and in. And then we do it again. One more time, toss away, and then rotate the palms. So now we're in warrior two. So we're in the seamless flow of Tai Chi and yoga. All right, and then from there, we step the back foot up and in a little and out a little bit. So now we're back in our Tai Chi lunge, and then we drift on over, and then we do it to the other side. So we step into our bow step, toss away. All right, so see how there's a space between my both feet. Okay, and then on the third or fourth one, we step back and in. So now we're in see now you can't see my other foot because it's all in one line. So now we're in our warrior two. All right, so Tai Chi lunge, warrior two lunge. So, all right, and so the idea too is that with the upper body, remember what I said, everything's soft, but then when we go into warrior two, then instead of being soft, we engage. All right, so we're engaged, the arms can straighten. Whereas in Tai Chi, remember, there's always a softness to the joints there. All right, but so kind of combining the two, we can go in and out with still having the energy flowing within us. And so that's how we combine the strength and flexibility and mindfulness aspect of yoga with the graceful and flowing movements of Tai Chi and Qigong. All right, so Qigong is basically some of the movements we did, which are kind of like the simpler version of Tai Chi. And it's what Tai Chi came from. So when we sync the Qi, that's actually a Qigong movement. So it's symmetrical, very gentle, and we're not moving too much. But then when we start to do more dynamic movements, that's more of the Tai Chi types of movements. So we kind of combined three things today. So I hope you enjoyed it. All right, let me know if you have any questions. You can type them in the comments. But while you're doing that, I have a story I wanted to share with you too. It's called Maybe. There is a Taoist story of an old farmer who had worked his crops for many years. One day his horse ran away. Upon hearing the news, his neighbors came to visit. Such bad luck, they said sympathetically. Maybe, the farmer replied. The next morning, the horse returned, bringing with it 3 other wild horses. How wonderful, the neighbors exclaimed. Maybe, replied the old man. The following day, his son tried to ride one of the untamed horses, was thrown, and broke his leg. The neighbors again came to offer their sympathy on his misfortune. Maybe, answered the farmer. The day after, military officials came to the village to draft young men into the army. Seeing that the son's leg was broken, they passed him by. The neighbors congratulated the farmer on how well things had turned out. Maybe, said the farmer. So the idea is that we never really know what the outcome is of any one event in life, And so now some things are a little bit more, you can kind of connect the dots to what's going to cause less suffering and more suffering. And so those things you can kind of, maybe, guess what's going to happen. But in general, sometimes bad things happen and they end up being a blessing in disguise. Like for me, I got into trouble drinking and I thought I lost my license for years and I didn't even know if I was going to be able to get through physical therapy school. I didn't know if they were going to let me stay. And so what it did was it allowed me then to become sober. I kind of hit my rock bottom and it became a blessing in disguise. I got into meditation and then that grew into yoga and Tai Chi, and here I am today. And so it's really, we never really know what the outcome is of each situation. And so one option that you can do is apply mindfulness. All right? And so mindfulness is observing the present moment, whichever event or experience you're having, with this sense of curiosity and openness, and nurturing this kind of gentleness and this non-judgment. All right, now there's some things that are important to judge. You want to make sure things are safe or dangerous. But in general, there's so much that we experience that we immediately judge. And what it does is it creates suffering. It creates this story in our head that sometimes these things that we think are going to happen never even actually happen, right? So I forget who it was. He said, was it Mark Twain? He said, the worst things in my life never actually happened. Or I forget who it was. I think it was, it might have been him. So, but let me know if that's right or not. So, but I thought that was like a funny one. And so yeah, so applying mindfulness is one way where we can not become so disappointed or create suffering that's not needed. Sometimes it's called the second arrow, because sometimes we can't avoid pain. But then when we add on a story to it, then we create more pain and more suffering that we then don't necessarily need. And so mindfulness, when we practice Tai Chi, it teaches us to slow down. We don't even have to think about it. It just starts to happen over time. It creates what's sometimes called the sacred pause, to where instead of reacting, we can respond skillfully, instead of reacting from our conditioning. So those are kind of some of the things that came up for me. I'd love to hear what comes up for you, though. So I hope you enjoyed the Tai Chi and Yoga Flow, the mini lesson on the differences between Tai Chi and yoga, and how you can integrate them into one seamless flow, the mindful story, and then also my own personal journey with Tai Chi and yoga. And so if you haven't already, make sure you go through the Tai Chi for Beginners mini course. In this 5-video series, we continue with our Tai Chi Flow. I show you the best exercises for flexibility and balance and for better sleep. I show you how you can reduce your stress and how Tai Chi can create inner peace. So just click the link right here and start with video 1 of the Tai Chi for Beginners mini course, and I'll see you over there.